This month I went camping in the debris hut shelter I built earlier in the spring. It's a quaint and primitive little campsite, but I enjoy staying there. I built the foundations of this little shelter right before everything got crazy in the second week of March. I had some sweet birch laying around, and I tied them up with tulip poplar. Then I pounded the stakes into the ground to create a really sturdy foundation for my shelter. You don't want these things collapsing or blowing around. This was in the spring and fresh leaf litter wasn't available, so I used older leaves to patch up the shelter. I also found some freshly cut pine boughs that helped spruce up the shelter. At that point, the shelter still had some gaps and holes where rain could come through, but I would fix those later in the fall. Now in November, the debris hut is far more polished, and any holes or gaps were patched up so no rain can come through. Earlier in the week, I found a lion's mane mushroom growing inside a down beech tree, and I was going to add that to my dinner tonight. I also foraged some onion grass, and I was going to use those as a scallion substitute. I'm cooking the onion grass and the lion's mane with a pork chop I got from the store. I brought a basic sleeping pad and sleeping bag to keep me insulated in the little shelter. I barely fit into the shelter, but I think that's how they're supposed to operate, as closely knit to your body as possible. The next morning, I wanted to make a pot hanger. This is a pretty easy process. You just find two two-pronged sticks, and then you carve out a stake at the bottom of each one, so it's sharp and pointy. Then you want to hammer these stakes into the ground, just outside your fire ring. The last step is to put one straight long stick in between the other two. This has to be strong enough to hold your pot. This morning I'll be making some of my lion's mane, ginkgo, and lemongrass tea. This is a really good tea in the morning that helps you get energized and helps your brain wake up. I have this available in my shop if anyone wants it. There were some young, stinging nettle shoots around, so I decided to add some of those to my tea as well. They have a slight sting when they're young, but it's not too bad, and once you heat it up, the sting goes completely away. It's a very healthy and nutritious tea. The camping trip was very refreshing and grounding, but I had some things I had to attend to in the real world. I definitely will go back in the next month or two.